Hello, everybody. Welcome in. It's Laura from Tenacious Taurus Twin Flame Tarot, and this is going to be a special Twin Flame message for the 1111 portal. And so I got a ton of downloads the last couple of days. I was connected to another very high vibration divine feminine yesterday. And so whenever I go through these very high vibration connections and we do energy exchanges, I always come into a lot of insights when it comes to the Twin Flame Collective. And so I do feel we're on the precipice of a massive breakthrough, this 1111 portal. We also have the new moon on Monday on the 13th. And so we do have Mercury entering into Sagittarius on the 10th, and then it will be forming a square to Saturn. And so we're still clearing a lot of karma from past lives at this point in time. And then on the 1111 portal, we are going to have Mars in Scorpio in opposition to Uranus retrograde in Taurus at 21 degrees, and 21 is the energy of the world. And so we are completing cycles. It is also the energy of those that have not fairly established the learning of the lesson. There is going to be some type of karma playing out because the exact placement of Mars opposite Uranus is at 21 degrees, orb 8, and 8 for me is always a very karmic energy of what goes around comes around. And so what I feel right now the twins are being asked of is to really go within and listen only to your own inner voice, to kind of tune out all of the distractions around us as we go through this gateway portal of breakthrough. And so I feel a lot of the feminines are striving for achievement, and a lot of the feminines have done the legwork when it comes to reestablishing this new spiritual order within the collective. And so this is what the twins came here to do, to authentically express who they are, to talk about their transformation journey, and to talk about this deep inner truth when it comes to our own personal unique perspectives of this awakening and what this path, has meant to each of us individually. And so I do feel we're kind of still sifting through the underworld. We still got some pretty hefty Scorpio energy, squaring it up and opposing the Taurus energy. So we're still kind of working with that Taurus and Scorpio axis within the energies. And I also felt very strong prominent Virgo energy is in play. So you really might want to pay attention to where these energies fall within your natal chart, within your birth chart, in order to gain a deeper explanation of how these energies might be affecting you coming up over the coming days. But I feel patience. Patience is really the energy that the feminine embodies. And I feel a lot of the feminines haven't fully received that recognition for the new spiritual forms that they've been trying to establish because of all of the resistance of the masculine. So all of this resistance has to be eliminated on the counterpart's end because we are here to come together in the depths of this union, of this communion, in order to bring into the form all of these individual insights together. And so I do feel right now the masculine, as the feminine kind of masters the energy of patience, there's a stirring within a lot of the masculines. And I do feel, I feel a lot of the masculines are tasting a very bad, sour energy in their mouth because they lacked the insight to develop the depth and establish the depth of this connection with the feminine. And so dedication, we are here to master our dedication to our unique perspectives, and all of our unique perspectives are needed as we go into the age of Aquarius. And so we have to keep maintaining these higher spiritual principles on the path, which I feel is promoting this breakthrough on the flip side of the journey with the counterpart, with the masculine. And so a lot of the feminines have this unique mental brilliance, which oftentimes can border on a state of psychosis as all of these spiritual insights come in. So we're kind of at this juxtaposition, divine Y point of receiving a lot of insights especially with Mercury going into Sagittarius. And so there is a lot kind of being restructured within these unions at this time. And I do feel the masculine is feeling the drive and the push to take action. But I do feel there's going to have to be this moment of like self-actualization. And I do feel like union energy is in sight. But I feel the masculine is processing all of these old abandonment wounds at this time. And so as we kind of go through this restructuring energy, I feel a lot of the feminines have found like their drive again, especially after that Venus retrograde in Leo. I know a lot of the feminines that I work with, it took a lot of us down, especially those with prominent Leo when it comes to their mission work and their career path. And so it just feels like the feminine is finally coming back into her power, back into her drive, back into this state of regeneration in the energies is what it feels like. And I feel the masculine on the flip side energetically is feeling very threatened, because he can see that the masculine kind of has endured the condemnation part, and that's like the fall of the humiliation of the awakening. A lot of the feminines go through the awakening and they lose, their jobs, their homes, they lose almost everything as part of the awakening, their reputation, they go through humiliation. And so a lot of the feminines kind of endured that. We're kind of coming back into this aligned energy. And so the flip side now is condemnation on the masculine side. And I think they're really oversensitive to all of these energies. I just feel like justice is being expedited this weekend through this 11/11 portal. And I do feel like a lot of failed relationships when it comes to the karmic cycles. But, there's a lot of insights that do come forward when we have to individually face our own personal abandonment wounds or rejection wounds. And we do this in the face of condemnation. And so a lot of the masculines have had this one-track mind programmed in 3D, work, ignore, repress, stuff it all down. And so I do feel some higher energies are coming in because a lot of these masculines have been over-reliant on the lower 3D aspects of the journey. And they've had this stubborn obsession of, I'm not going to change. I'm not going to admit that I did something wrong. I don't want to have to go back and face the karmic wreckage that I kind of left behind. And so I do feel a lot of the masculines are facing recurring obstacles, recurring towers. And this is kind of like by cosmic design, by the divine, in order for the masculines to release all of these outdated beliefs that they've been clinging to. And so I think with the mercurial energy shifting from Scorpio into Sagittarius, there's going to be a lot of mental, spiritual gifts coming back online for a lot of the counterparts. But we do have to properly kind of conceptualize this energy. We have to master the containment of our energy. And so a lot of the masculines have shunned the advice of the feminine. They received a lot of poor advice. They've been very limited with their beliefs. And I do feel they've been prone to vanity because they've not been into the depths of this expression. And so I do feel like step by step, one step at a time, right? We have to kind of adapt throughout these codes coming in. And as we take in the codes, we have to go into a transmutation of the energies. And we have to purge old relationships that have hindered this breakthrough. We have to purge anything that really could jeopardize the success of the counterparts coming into union. And that truly is going to be a gift for the collective, these unions. And so I just feel right now there's a big focus on harmonizing these unions, these relationships, because I do believe Venus just went into Libra. The moon is now cycling into Libra right now as I'm recording this. I noticed 9/11 on the timer. And so I do feel right now there's people that are stuck in these unharmonious cycles. And they've really stayed stubborn in that position of, I don't want to change. I don't want to move on for fear of God knows what. And so there's a lot of restrictive karmic forces coming forward that is kind of pushing the breakthrough energy, because the masculine was kind of over-reliant on receiving all of this poor advice, and they really didn't consider the ramifications of those choices. And so there's a high value in honoring our natural, authentic integrity, right? And that is what the twins are here to embody, is integrity. And when we are shining our light, when we're standing in the light of integrity, we have a tendency to trigger a lot of people, right? We trigger the shadow aspects in a lot of people when we're shining that light. And so I feel the feminine is coming into this place of centering and kind of containing all of the energy, which will naturally establish the breakthrough on the external aspect on the masculine. And so a lot of the feminines have gone through this internal transformation, and it's embodied externally. And a lot of the feminines have embraced their unique gifts, their unique knowing. And we know that we hold a lot of collective value when we're standing in the light of our natural integrity. And so the ego on the masculine side, the ego tries to justify all of these lower attributes, and they keep carrying them over into all of these different relationship cycles. And so, they really didn't look at the importance of all of the aspects of the journey. And so I do feel we're in this mystical energy of accepting the death, accepting the ego death, the transformation. And we're channeling all of these energies as we're kind of restructuring and redistributing the collective codes that have been coming in. And so there's a fine line between a spiritual genius and a freak, right? And so I know when we first awaken and we come into this abundance of downloads, it can come in a state of confusion because of how fast the messages are coming in. And so, we have to kind of stay grounded and centered so we don't go into massive states of psychosis as we receive these downloads. And so this is where we need to only trust our own inner ear, our own inner guidance at this time. Listen to your own inner voice, because you already have the blueprint within you when it comes to these unions. And I do feel there's going to be spontaneous activations throughout this portal. The violet flame was being presented, and so we kind of have to transform the irrational downloads into a state of rationality with our inner knowing, so we can provide these new insights and perspectives moving forward. And so oftentimes, as an empath, as a claircognizant, as a clairsentient, as a medium, I don't always have the facts to back up the inner knowing. It's just my deep inner sense of knowing. And so it takes strength on the journey to embody that spiritual integrity. It takes a lot of fortitude to stand behind the insights that we're here to explain, even if they seem freakish or outside of the collective realm of the norms, because we are here to build new, higher tribal units. And so I do feel a lot of the energy is bringing forward this capacity. I feel divine timing is saying now is the right time to restructure and remold our thought processes. And so this is like a cellular mutative awareness and process. And I feel a lot of the feminines are coming into that final form of grounding. And so I feel the feminine is reaching a state of fully conceptualizing her journey, which is kind of sending out the invitation for the potential mutation of the DNA structure on the masculine's part within these unions. And so when the feminine fully conceptualizes her reality, the masculine is being asked to only listen to his own inner knowing rather than all of the outside opinions that he's been hearing from others that he's been connected with. And it's really not his fault. We don't know what we know until we know it. And so I do feel there's a big issue here. There's a big problem here that needs to be fixed. And I feel right now the feminine is asked to honor your protection as all of these cosmic influences kind of carry the masculine to the next part of the journey. And he is so fearful of rejection at this time. And so I feel there's like a wonderment also in the energies. And the masculine is asking himself, how do I come forward? How do I clearly communicate? I do feel a lot of mental anxiety arises as the masculine, tries to move towards the feminine due to the fear of what cannot be explained. There's a lot of fear of emotional vulnerability. And of course, the fear of them possibly being rejected by the feminine. And so it's like this elimination energy of all of the intolerance, all of the stuckness, all of the immoral actions that the masculine has kind of played into. And so it is like this, the coming apart, the splitting apart is kind of what's happening. And so a lot of the karmics attempt to undermine the masculine set of values and the values that the twins have for one another. And this is an attempt to draw the masculine away from his missionary work. And so a lot of the karmics bring a lot of darkness into the masculine's life. And so all of this is producing a lot of negative effects at this time, I feel. The feminine, I feel, is stepping into the gift of being that sage, that healer. And so we can defend ourselves against the evil and the wrongdoing of the world because we've mastered containment and conceptualization of our mission and our energy. And so I just feel a lot of the karmics have tried to undermine the feminine as well. And so defense, we're going to have to kind of defend our energy, self-defense. And you know, we can tolerate the darkness to a certain point. But I feel right now the masculine is feeling threatened when it comes to his financial security. His like survival fears have been coming up is what it felt like. Because he's been so hard and so tedious at trying to maintain that false status quo. And I do feel he can no longer preserve that. And it's just, he's feeling threatened is what I'm feeling. And so with Jupiter retrograde in Taurus, I do feel this is like the strike against the masculine. He can no longer preserve this false sense of integrity. The moon too in Libra is kind of just saying, you better fend off the hostilities, divine masculine. You're going to have to defend yourself. I do feel a lot of the masculines are facing a lot of hostilities. And he's having a hard time explaining himself in these contracts. And so the feminine, I feel, is being asked to fully step into that independent expression at this time. And that is going to be the detriment of the masculine. So take back your vitality, take back your personal power, divine feminine. I do feel there's a lot of jealousy surrounding you, but I don't think you have anything to worry about. I don't feel the energy is very threatening around you. I do feel the masculine is very much attracted to the mysteriousness that you hold, but there's like a lot of suspicion. I feel the masculine is feeling threatened, and he keeps attracting all of these towers at this time, which is creating this process of disillusionment or fragmentation of the thought process or fragmentation of the mind. And this is where we master diversification and the synthesis and the alchemical process of these unions. A lot of potential, right? And so I do feel condemnation, facing past consequences that have been avoided. And I do feel a lot of the masculines too, it's almost like they're atheists, right? They don't believe in God. They don't believe in the higher power. I feel there's a lot of paranoia. I feel a lot of the masculines are in a state of isolation due to all of the fear and the paranoia. And they are kind of being asked to find their courage to express that truth, to accept that this is the path, that the value of the path with the feminine holds the most expansion for their contribution to their mission work and the collective at this time. And the feminine and the masculine are here to, expand that gift of communication. A lot of the twins have prominent Gemini in their chart, and we have a lot of insights to provide for the collective. And so a lot of the masculines, I feel, are also feeling inferior right now to the feminine. And so they're going to have to accept the state of where they're at as all of this kind of gets fused back together and pieced back together. And so when we go into separation, or when we recognize we have the soul recognition, and the masculine's usually the runner, the feminine's usually the chaser, and like physically this doesn't really play out that I'm very aware of. Sometimes it does, but the masculine will run for fear of rejection and abandonment, and a lot of the masculines have like this avoidant personality. You know, they're avoidant within relationships. And then the runner twin would have almost like an anxious attachment and feels the masculine running and we want to chase. A lot of this is done energetically. But I do feel right now it's flipping the script, right? There's a lot of this gradual attunement, and we kind of have to go through several bouts of what I would call like twin flame reunion, where there could be like a fated meeting or a fated passing of energies. I know throughout the last several years there's been several fated encounters and meetings, but never a conversation, never an actual face-to-face. It's always been in passing for the exchange of energy, for the reunion of the synthesis of the alchemical process. And so it is a very gradual attunement because of the high frequency diversity of the energy codes that are coming in. And so we go through this exponential growth of energy, and that's what I call the ascension, right? And this is where we kind of go into these states of fusion, and we have to kind of master diversity and duality as we go through this synthesis process of union, because it is a spiritual alchemical process. And so I do feel the masculine is very much withdrawn at this time. And he's losing a lot of his power at this time as the feminine kind of takes back her drive. And so this is kind of restructuring what needs to be restructured. And so when I was in meditation, it was kind of like this energy of like going through the gates and the lines of the mandala as we kind of enter into work. And so the mandala, it's a very sacred symbol. It's known in many spiritual beliefs across the globe, religious beliefs across the globe. And the mandala energy kind of represents the universe. And I see my kitty's about to go in my Christmas tree. I set up a Christmas tree yesterday. And so when we think of the mandala, it's similar to the journey for the twins. It has multiple layers, multiple meanings, and we have multiple significations on the journey. And so we on a basic level, the mandala does signify cosmic unity, and that's what the twins are here to embody and to restore the harmony and balance within the cosmic energies and the collective. And so on a very profound level, the mandala also does represent Kitty, Thea, no, get out of my tree. So it does, like, on a very profound level, we are all connected. We are all interconnected. We are all part of one giant consciousness by human design and by our birth charts. And so the mandala also displays the connection we have between all of our human souls, and we are all connected to one universal source. And so I feel a lot of higher concepts are being downloaded, are being understood at this time. And so, like the mandala too, it's like the energy of the spider web, which is like a creative project, a karmic, cosmic webbing. And so we all have strands that remain connected to past life contracts, to distinct soulmates this life, individualistic lessons and stuff like that. And so we are all connected nevertheless through all of these cosmic threads. And as a whole structure, we are one collective. And so, but we also all have to own our own personal identity and our own personal individually as we come into union at the same time. And so let's jump in with some cards. I did grab the past life lesson deck today. I grabbed the crystal stone deck to use. I grabbed my volume 2 deck for the spiritual journey oracles, and yeah, like my past life deck. And I also grabbed the Archangel Power tarot card. So let's start off with the volume 2 of the spiritual journey. Oh my gosh, I just got the deck. So this is about accountability for the divine masculine. The healing journey at this point in time, the masculine is going to kind of have to look in that mirror, right? And remove all of the masks, all of the filters, all of the barriers to looking at the mirror, to really looking at himself in the mirror. So he can't keep blaming other people for where he's at in his life. This is about total ownership, right? We all have to get to a point on our journey where we have to own everything we've been through, everything we've put others through, and we have to go through a state of repentance. And so the masculine is in a state of owning everything from the past to the present to the future. And so the divine masculine is the energy that is here to exhibit logic, assertion, and action. A lot of the masculines have really not come from a place of divine reason. And so I feel a lot of the angels are working with the masculines to provide them that strength to move forward towards accountability for what it is that they've created. So let's see what else needs to come through for the twins for the 1111 portal. Well, that's a big message. It is about accountability. We cannot fully embrace the healing journey until we are fully accountable for our lives, right? Self-worth is a big one too. And so a lot of the twins, we do have to go in and heal any self-worth issues. And that's when the divine masculine is still on the bottom of the deck. I think the masculine is learning a lesson in reciprocity, equal giving and receiving. That's the Libra energy. So with Libra, with Venus in Libra and the moon in Libra, I do feel a major shift when it comes to accountability. They're showing me the Six of Pentacles, which is reciprocity. And so the masculine is learning the lesson of reciprocity. And so the rewards and the compensation comes from the healthy exchange with the feminine. So I do feel a lot of the masculines right now are dealing with some self-worth issues maybe. And they're in a very challenging relationship dynamic that I feel is kind of tore them to shreds and ripped them down, maybe dealing with somebody that gaslights them or puts them down or something of the sort. And so this is all due to soul agreements that we decided to come in here this life to clear with other people that have been a block from past lives when it comes to these unions. And so I feel there's a lot of past life wounds coming up. And I do feel like right now there's a light being shone on this evolution path. Oh yeah, evolution. I didn't even see that when I said that. So we are here to evolve our knowledge. A lot of us come in with a lot of spiritual gifts from a past life, which would be connected to the South Node. But that is also our comfort zone. And so we're mastering the opposite polarity of the South and North Node. So for me, I'm an Aquarius South Node. And I'm learning to step into the Leo North Node, which is to be in the spotlight. And so when I started my journey back in 2019, it was a lot for me to come out of the shadows and into the forefront and to put myself out there. It's not easy to do that. I also have my South Node in Aquarius that was sitting in my 12th house of Aquarius, which is the 12th house is the house of karma, undoing. It's our subconscious. It's the house that knows no bound. And so my North Node then would also fall in the opposite axis in Leo in my 6th house, which is all about work and career. And so here you got it. Here's my work. Here's my career. But I do feel the twins' purpose is connecting, is connected to this higher knowledge. It's connected to embracing spiritual studies, and the spiritual path is constant. We're constantly evolving. We're constantly learning. And so I do feel the feminine is the one kind of assisting the masculine right now to shine a light as a guide so he can shift out of that wounded state towards evolution. And so there's the healing of the soul's DNA. And so the twins have this deeply embedded trauma and pain in the DNA from the original soul agreement of separation. And so a lot of this past life energy has really defined every single lifetime since then. And so if we are to shift into new earth energies, 5D and above, we do have to face our deepest, darkest hurts, and we have to heal them. And so I do feel this 1111 portal is bringing in a conclusion. I feel a lot of the masculines have reached the conclusion of that powerful karmic lesson, and enough deep-seated healing has taken place that he can rip the Band-Aid off and maybe go towards the journey. Because it's felt for a very long time that the twins have been walking on different timelines. Because of the fact that the masculine has been in a state of complacency, inaction, and stagnancy. And so only the masculine can choose to embrace stepping into this new energy and out of that karmic situation with the feminine. But it's going to require releasing that fear surrounding both of those energies. Let's jump in with some past life lessons. Outcast, old soul. So I do feel a lot of the masculines are feeling outcast right now, maybe even ostracized when it comes to their family, their group of friends. But, you know, we've learned a lot of past life lessons. We're very old souls. We are sages. And so this is why we chose to have this enlightened existence now and to clear the karma of this life, because of all of the wisdom that we've gained in all of our previous incarnations. So let's see what other past life messages and lessons are coming through with the 1111 portal. Okay. Wow. Bottom of the deck, we get the Gypsy. And I do feel this is the divine feminine's energy, the Gypsy. A lot of the feminines kind of wander through the journey like a gypsy, like a vagabond. And we try to find that sense of belonging with others that we travel with along the journey as the masculine goes through addictions in that unrequited love situation. And so this is a family burden that really has, you know, caused a lot of separation in the collective throughout many ancestral generations. I feel, you know, we are here to be these trailblazers. We are here to embrace the unconventional path of these unions and to teach others this new patented way of living, living and being in these new higher relationships. And so I do feel addictions have skewed the masculine's judgment. A lot of them are in an unrequited love situation where they're not able to be with the feminine who they truly love, who truly holds their heart. And so, you know, I feel a lot of the masculines, I know a lot of them do have a broken heart during the separation. A lot of the masculines, not all of them, will go into a cardiac arrest, and they will cross over and die and come back as part of their awakening. And so a lot of the masculines, I feel, if that's the case, they chose to stay in the unrequited love situation and in this limiting conditioned state because they have so much fear of going into the depths of the heartbreak. I feel a lot of the masculines are feeling like they're being punished at this time, and we are never punished. Everything that we create in our reality is either fated or destined, and when we go through fated events, that is when we learn, hey, I can take charge of my destiny, right? There's fate and then there's destiny, and we can take charge of our destiny and stop all of these fated things from happening. But I feel the masculine is consequentially facing all of his wrongdoings in order to release a long-standing family burden. And this is about recognizing the family patterns, the toxic patterns. A lot of the masculines do have addictions to alcohol. Alcohol is a huge block on the journey, and so I feel there's going to be a change of course coming up here because we are the trailblazers for the future. We have to embrace these new cosmic patented ideas and bring these new ideas into physical form. And so the masculine's been lazy. And so we are also here to master keeping a healthy mind and body. We have to stay active. The chakras are wheels in motion. And so we have to stay active by living our life with a purpose to keep the chakra wheels in motion. And so I just feel like the masculine's feeling like he's been to war. But I do feel freedom is around the corner for the masculine. So let's jump in with some Archangel Power Tarot cards. Well, oh my gosh. I haven't used this deck in so long. We get the Temperance, or the 14 cards. Solutions is what it's saying. And it speaks of Archangel Zadkiel. And then we get the Two of Raphael, which is the Two of Cups. This is beautiful. 33:22 on the timer. So I do feel we're tempering these unions. The twins do create something really beautiful in the world when they come together, right? We decided before we incarnated that we would find each other because our two hearts are always connected and we would be these kindred spirits for one another. So don't give up. I feel don't give up because success is around the corner. Right now I feel the masculine is learning self-control, patience, and forgiving in this healing energy for the preparation of these unions is what it feels like. So let's dig in and see what energies need to come through on the divine masculine side. Messages for the divine masculine. Oh, it didn't want to come out. And then we will pull into the divine feminine. So we get the 8 of Gabriel, the 9 of Raphael, and the Knight of Wands, or the Knight of Gabriel in reverse. This looks like the masculine's made a wish and he wants to make that wish a reality. I don't know if he's prepared to fully take the action, but the Knight of Cups in reverse, I feel, is saying that the masculine is coming in solid. is coming in committed. A lot of the masculines come in at the beginning of the journey, and they are like a player, right? So I also feel too, you know, the first time around, the masculine didn't want to take the lead. Although there was great passion, right? I don't feel he understood the cause and effect of his actions, right? And I do feel now he instinctively knows what it is that he needs to do. I do feel he's not feeling very courageous or confident, but I feel like there's a lot going on right now. The Eight of Wands could be accelerated ascension. I think there's a lot of things kind of shifting, a lot of sudden, unexpected downloads for the masculine, and I do feel some important communication is coming. The masculine, that's so funny. I was in the car yesterday, and that Christina Aguilera song came on, Genie in a Bottle, and I just got a good little chuckle because that was significant for my own journey. So pay attention to the music as well. You're likely receiving messages that way, but make a wish. This 1111 portal is all about making a wish. Dreams are about to become reality, and we are headed towards a lot of happiness. On the feminine side, we get the 20 card, which is the Judgment, which is speaking of a new beginning with the 2 of Gabriel. And so I do believe the decision will be yours. If you look on this card, we see 2 masculines. So I know oftentimes it can be confusing. I speak of divine masculine and divine feminine, and oftentimes we can have same-sex couples. It could be 2 men, 2 women, or role reversed, where the man would be the divine feminine internally, or vice versa. Usually the one that awakens first and recognizes the connection is the feminine, and the masculine is kind of in a sleeping state. But I do feel progress is possible for these unions at this time. This is a very important relationship that the twins have with one another, because we do share the same vision for the future. And so once again, it's like that temperance angel is bringing 2 people together. We see the temperance angel bring 2 people together. I do feel the time has come to start this new family cycle, to start that new life. A lot of us are fully finding and stepping into our purpose at this time. And I do feel we are learning to forgive the past. We've gone through the compassionate review of the past life. And we've come to the understanding with the 5 of Cups that everything happens for a reason. When the twins go into separation, it is for us to release any regret, shame, guilt, or pent-up repressed emotions embedded in our DNA. And so if we can look for the silver lining in the lesson, then we can release that struggle with the 5 of Wands in reversed. And so we're coming out of a time of challenging energies. We are. Things have been so challenging. We're at this place of reaching resolve, I feel. And so I do feel this withdrawing energy of all of the drama connected to other people, so we can have that positive reunion with the counterpart. And so something is coming back around. We got the world reversed, and that's what I talked about. So there is an ending coming full circle with a lot of spiritual growth and insights. And like I said, the fixed energies, Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, Aquarius, are likely most effective. And there is going to be a tower coming down this weekend. And so something is coming back around to complete a cycle, to complete a lesson. And there is going to be sudden, unexpected changes. I feel the masculine is being offered freedom in the energies this weekend. He can break free anytime he chooses. But I feel the tower is likely coming in the form of the karmic feminine lashing out with the Queen of Swords in reversed. And so we've got a Queen of Swords in reversed who is not self-reliant, who does not speak the truth, who is not authentic. And that's the karmic's job. That's what they're here to do, is to create friction, to create tension. There could be a tongue lashing, some slandering going on here. But I do feel there is a karmic energy. It doesn't have to be a woman, but a karmic feminine energy that is really lashing out, jealous. And I do feel this is the perfect opportunity to break free from that challenging relationship. And then we're going straight towards the 2 of Cups with the 3 of Wands, which is prosperity. I do feel the ships are coming in. It's time for prosperity. These twin flame unions, it's two hearts in one. We are two souls divided into two physical bodies, and so we are kindred spirits. The energy of the twin is just like home, and we don't give up on the people that we love, right? And so it is time to take those next steps to plan for prosperity as well, because I think things are going to turn out better than expected. And so the Seven of Cups with the Four of Wands in reverse, the Four of Gabriel in reversed, with the Five of Pentacles in reversed. I just feel it is time to come out of a period of disillusionment. It is time to walk through the portal, to make a decision. It is time to take action. I do feel a huge process of detoxification when it comes to the false unions. I do feel there is a release of the abandonment wound and the lack mentality. And we do grow through the current challenges, right? And when we go through challenges alone, this is what teaches us to tap into the nearby help of the spirit team and the guides above. And so I do feel a huge release. So let's get a couple crystal stone deck messages for the masculine. A card for the masculine, please. Okay, we got 3. Oh, we got 4. So we get tourmaline quartz, which is asking the masculine to restore himself into his perfect light. He's definitely in likely a state of psychosis, going through a psycho-spiritual scrub and cleansing. Danbarite, the light is on. Turn on the light. Turn on the light. And then we get the moonstone energy. I feel there's like a serious vibe around the masculine. I do feel a lot of elevated thought processes are coming through. We also get the malachite. And so I feel the masculine feels like he's been launched into outer space. He's like, what is going on? He probably feels like he's an astronaut in training. And now I'm being asked to reference, I forget who sings it. It's a song by Talk, T-A-L-K. And it speaks about the masculines being up in Mars or something. I can't remember the name of the song, but it feels like, the masculines have been diverted into all of these new psychic realities as the journey's kind of flipped on this high beam. And so this is all about shedding all of the light on these negative vices, this portal, so the masculine can have a clear view of whereabouts he needs to go. But I feel the masculines are feeling like they've been kicked down to gutter level, and maybe they feel like they belong there. But I feel the masculine is learning to find his natural rhythm again. I do feel he's looking at you as a goddess, divine feminine. And he's looking around at all of the people around him who lack empathy. And I just feel he's having a hard time sleeping. He does want to go towards this connection because he does feel the soul connection. And I just feel, like the masculine is swirling in these cosmic energies in a state of psychosis, almost like a bad acid trip is kind of what it's feeling like. But at the same time, it's very electrifying and mesmerizing and magnifying. And so I feel this overflow of creativity. But the masculine, he's not had the drive to follow through. There's been a lack of follow through, a lack of taking action. And so he's been so far disconnected from the path. I just feel, a lot of them have been all about the money and the power and the control and the glory. That's not really sustainable moving forward. This is about heart-centered sustainability moving forward. Okay, messages for the divine feminine. Oh, dear. Oh, my gosh. Okay. What do we got? We get lapis lazuli and blue calcite. And this is telling you it's time to ascend on your rightful throne. Divine feminine, it's time to act on your dreams. It's really time. Look at all the blue throat chakra. This is about speaking up. We also got Shanghai, Shiva, Lingham, and Hematite, which are all protection stones. And so I feel right now the feminine is really acting on her dreams, deepening her intuition, exploring your hidden intuitive depths. And so the energy really is infusing you with a dream-like energy is what it feels like. I think there's nothing to freak out about. I feel like you're reaching a state of accomplishment. Like you've gone through the prerequisites of achieving this accomplishment, and it's really time to just ascending on your rightful throne. Leo, I do believe maybe in a past life you were queen or king, but this is about clearing some ancient Egyptian timelines. The shadowy eye energy and the Old Testament timelines when it comes to the timeline of Christ, because we are ascending into the golden age of Aquarius. And this is where we allow our thoughts to create our reality. And so follow your intuition. Sodalite, Nazarite, I feel planning. That's Virgo energy. I know I've got a lot of prominent Virgo. We're planning, we're producing, we are doing our best to manifest that bigger picture. And so I just feel like a lot of the feminists too, we get to a point where the material pleasures don't do it for us, and it's all about the spirituality. I do feel the energy is highlighting the materialistic vein, always craving money energy around the masculine. And I just feel the masculine is working on digging themselves out of a spiritual grave. So right now, it's really time to go all in divine feminine when it comes to aligning to your inner state of wholeness. And this is about getting real with the truth, right? So let's get a couple twin flame oracle messages. What else do we need to be aware of? Soul lessons, right? This 1111 portal, I think, is bringing forward a lot of soul lessons. There's without a doubt a change in the wind. We are shifting out of difficulty, and you need to trust. We are clearing all of these unresolved childhood wounds and issues, and we're learning to listen to our soul's guidance. And divine feminine, it always comes down to you. You hold the key. You hold the blueprint to this twin flame reunion. So find your center. Find your center. Find your inner peace. And that is what will draw the masculine in. And that's what I have for the 1111 portal message, guys. I really hope this helped. I hope this resonated. If you would like to book a personal or a soulmate reading with me, check out the description box below. And I do look forward to seeing you all again next time. Thanks.